All right, guys, good morning. I'm on site this morning with Michael from Xtour. So we're doing a 3D scan of our project this morning. Just going to go through a couple of little things here with Michael. He's got the camera set up, going around scanning all of the inside. The main thing with these is so that we know where all of the timber framing and all the service locations are.
G'day.
Morning, Michael.
Morning.
You want to explain what we got going here and show us a little bit of detail?
Absolutely. We've got a Matterport Pro3 camera here, which has a LiDAR built into it. It also takes RGB photos, so we're taking 360-degree photospheres every time we move the camera. Plus we're extracting 3D depth data out of the space. Once we've done that, we take it away, we stitch it all together, and we create a navigable 3D model that the builders can then refer to and share with their clients or stakeholders or any other contractors, giving everyone an overview, an interactive overview of the site, and making sure that there's no discrepancies or losses during the job. This is the last photo we've taken. So every time I move the camera, I get one of these blue squares. That's a new scan position. That's a position that the user or the builder can move to. Every time we move to a new spot, we can see all of the wiring hanging from the roof. This isn't processed yet, so it'll be far sharper, clearer, more colorful, brighter, and easier to see. No audio, so that's a good thing on the tours. Yeah, so once all that's sharpened up, it'll be a lot more useful. And every position we put one of these, every position we put the camera in, we get one of these squares, which we can refer back to. Once the tour is processed, we can turn it into a 3D model and look at it from all different angles. We can also go into the floor plan mode and look at the actual floor plan of the space. The space becomes measurable, and we can also walk through it, same as any 3D tour on a real estate website. So over here we can trim stuff, we can mark windows, so many features within the tour itself, but that's just the beginning. Once we've got the tour, then we can build out all kinds of different experiences for either the client, for embedding. What's it going to be? We can embed the products of your suppliers into the tours, so future clients can explore the space, see which features, see which fittings you've used inside it, and then refer back to you to request them for the next build. CAD files, E57 point cloud files, Revit files, SketchUp files, all of these can be extracted from the 3D scan via the Matterport download functions. This is probably not relevant. We can upload this to Street View as well. I don't think there's any purpose for you for that. Maybe for your head offices, or if you have display homes, you can upload those to Street View so guests can plan before they arrive. Anybody with any accessibility needs can see the space before they enter. But I think most importantly for builders is capturing the build as it progresses so that you have a future record to save your asses in case anything goes wrong. So you'll see this here is the camera sensor. This is what we take all the beautiful images with that you can refer back to later. And this here is the LiDAR sensor. So it's shooting light out around through this mirror. We can see now that it's stopped. We've got a mirror on the front and a mirror here, which shoots the light out at different angles. That all comes back to the camera, and then the camera can register the size and dimensions of the space, which is accurate, I think, to over 99.96%. Yeah, so it's not quite millimeter accurate, but it's definitely centimeter accurate for any reference purposes.
So one of the main things that we're going to be using the Xtour for is referencing back once the plasterboard is on to be able to get a gauge on where any timber is, any services, electrical cables, air conditioning, ductwork, or any water cables, things like that. One of the cool features with it is, for example, this wall here is where the TV is going to be. We will block this wall out here anyway to be able to fix a TV bracket to. But for some reason, if we didn't, we'd actually be able to use the model and click from the edge of the window to where this stud is on the model and actually get a measurement, a physical measurement to be able to measure that. So there's no banging on the wall, trying to work out where a stud is, trying to find where it sounds a bit more solid than hollow and still get 100 holes in the wall before you get a piece of timber. So little things like that, and just making sure also that if you've got any things that you want to hang up on walls or try and find where service locations are after, if you've got for some reason a faulty water pipe or a cable or things like that, you can actually go through, walk around like a Google Street View as if you're walking in the space and actually see behind the plasterboard where all that stuff is. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack with this model, but I want to give you a quick walk around to see what it actually looks like now that it's been produced. So I'm going to go around everywhere. You see these little white circles on the ground. This is where the camera was placed, and you can click on each of these and walk yourself around, kind of similar to the Google Street View model, where you can feel like you're physically walking around in the space. So this is active building site, so there's still a little bit of stuff on the ground, but I'm just going to take you for a walk around just so you can see stuff like this. We're right in front of the toilet cistern. So this is really important for stuff like that when you're not going to see it once the plasterboard's on there. So concealed toilet system, things like that. If I spin around the other way, where hot and cold pipes go, electrical cables come through, we're going to jump back out into the living room, and I'm going to show you the example that I did earlier with how we can scale it. So what I'm going to do, down in the bottom corner over here, this little measurements thing, I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click plus. Gives us the option to go from the edge of my window frame over to this stud here. Is going to give me 1.33. So that allows us to, once the plasterboard's on, we can hook onto that window reveal, measure to this stud here. Like I said previously, this is going to be actually trimmed out anyway, but just in case, if you need to find a reference for what that is an option. And this is literally just off of the camera walking around inside. So what I'm going to do, just let me move myself back a little bit further. I'll show you again how accurate this actually is. I'm going to click the plus again, and I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm going to measure our ceiling height. So if we go all the way up, gives you a little option here as well, so you can see the little zoomed in version, so you can see that you're getting pretty accurate. Now, bear in mind, this ceiling is 3 meters, and look at that, we've got 2.99. So I might not have clicked exactly right in the corner there, but scaling off of that model to get 2.99 for exactly a 3 meter ceiling, that is super impressive. So that is a really, really useful way you can do it. The detail as well. So stuff like this window frame was leaning up against it. Michael from Xtour, when he's going around with the camera, he's actually placed the camera down inside here so that you can see stuff like where conduits and things come through, cables go through the wall so that nothing's getting missed. What I'm going to do is move myself back out here, and I'm going to show you the other features. Back down in the bottom corner here, we've got our floor selector. So what I'm going to do now is jump up through the floor into the second story. And we're going to go for a walk around here as well. Another example why this is going to be super effective. The plasterers, they're going to leave these downlight cables and this air conduct up in the ceiling so that we can get an understanding of where they were actually hanging from. We could, if we wanted to, we could click in the corners, click to the cable, get that measurement to make sure that we're going to start drilling downlight cables, downlight holes, in the right spot. We can jump into the ensuite upstairs. The guys fitting the vanity, rather than just having, these benchtop marks here, you're obviously not going to see once it's been marked. Once the linings are on there, the guys are going to be able to line up. If for some reason, if this wasn't trimmed out, they'll be able to find these studs to be able to screw the vanity into. We can see where all the pipe work goes for if there was any tower rails or anything going on the wall. What we're going to do also, I'm going to show you the other two options that are pretty cool here. Down in the bottom corner again, if we go floor plan view, what it also does just from the internal 3D camera, it gives us the option to be able to see the floor plan. So I'm going to start with the ground floor, so it gives us a bit more perspective on the overall. This is created literally just from the camera walking around inside. So currently it looks like we had a drone and we're flying across the top if it's got no roof. What you can also do from then, so basically just go back quickly, we give them the floor plan and we mark on the floor plan. This one, for example, because it's an addition, the existing house is up on the top of the screen here that you can't see. We only wanted the addition scanned. What gets produced after that as well is if I click on down in the bottom corner again, this little dollhouse view, this gives you somehow from all the data that's collected in between all of the studs, from the concrete, up around all the cables, pipe work, duct work, all that sort of stuff, produces this 3D external model as well. So you can actually see a perspective of what the whole building looks like when it's done. If I come around to this side over here, the cool part as well is to be able to see perspective. This window has basically been taken out and we can see through. I'm going to jump up back to the first floor as well. Same thing. It's like I've got a little drone and we're flying out here, POV view, and we're looking straight through the window to be able to actually see everything. Because remember, upstairs, like I said, there's a ladder up there. There's some stuff like that. It is an active building site. There's a few things around. So the detail that you can see from this is absolutely incredible. I'm going to go back inside quickly though, to just finish off. So like I said, super effective way that we're going to use this like an insurance policy, basically. So rather than going around taking a billion photos and missing the right angle and not being able to measure off of your physical photo, or holding your tape measure out, not being able to zoom in because your photos are unclear and you can't see what the measurements are on your tape measure, this you can share with your client, share with your trades, anyone on site. They can generate a QR code that you can stick on site as well, so that anyone that walks in can scan that. They've got access to this model. There's no excuse for them to drill something in the wrong spot or go through a pipe. My guys, for example, have been using this earlier in the week, fitting some bulkheads, just making sure that the stage of the job now is actually already being lined. So just making sure that when they're trimming out the last little bits, that they're not screwing through any pipes or cables or anything like that. So super affordable as well. And yeah, just an effective way that nothing's going to get missed, and just to keep that quality control. One last one. I'm going to jump back down to the ground floor just to show you how quick and easy you can run around these spaces and make sure that everything is seen, nothing's missed, just like that.